Some say beauty fades with age, but I believe it simply transforms. At 50, a woman carries more than just the years on her skin. She carries stories, laughter lines, gentle signs of motherhood, of growth, of resilience. Sometimes she looks in the mirror and sees a face that's familiar, yet changed. A face softened by time and maybe a little wearier than before. But then, there are those women who seem to glow, quietly, gracefully, as if their skin has learned to age with wisdom, not surrender. They don't look like they're trying to hold on to youth. They look like they've mastered the art of presence. And one of the most iconic examples of this quiet, refined beauty was Queen Elizabeth II. Through decades of public life, stress, responsibility, and change, her skin remained smooth, soft, composed. Not frozen by surgery, not altered by trends, just cared for, nourished by simple habits. Backed by discipline, grace, and a deep understanding of how time can be a friend, not a foe. What many people don't realize is that the Queen didn't rely on luxury treatments or celebrity formulas. Her beauty routine was not a secret locked behind palace walls. It was quiet, ordinary, but deeply effective, and most importantly, consistent. These 7 skincare rituals were the foundation of how she honored herself. And today, I want to share them with you. Because you don't need a crown to live with elegance. You don't need royal blood to have skin that glows with dignity. You just need a few simple shifts, moments of intention, and the willingness to love the face you've earned, the one that's carried you through joy, pain, change, and triumph. So if you've ever wished your skin could look more alive again, more calm, more graceful, then lean in, because these 7 secrets might not just change your skin. They may also change how you see yourself. Let's begin with something as simple as water. Secret 1. Cleanse with warm water, never hot or cold. It's easy to overlook the small things. Take water, for example. Most of us wash our face in a rush. Cold splash in the morning to jolt ourselves awake, hot water at night to melt away the day. But the Queen, she treated cleansing as something sacred. She never shocked her skin awake with icy water. She never scalded it with heat either. Instead, she chose warm water. Just warm enough to soften, to open the pores gently, to whisper, not scream, "Good morning." In the stillness of her morning routine, she filled a basin. Not a sink running loudly, but a quiet bowl, like a gentle ritual. She dipped her hands in slowly, pressed the water against her cheeks. Her forehead, her jaw, not rubbing. Not scrubbing, just gliding. Because skin, especially mature skin, responds best to touch that is patient. Kind, every motion helps stimulate circulation, loosen any oils that had risen overnight. Refresh the surface without disrupting the balance underneath. And at night, it was the same. A repeat of the ritual, not a chore, but a closure. A way to say thank you, face. You carried me through another day. She never let her skin air dry. No harsh rubbing with towels. She used soft cloths, pressing gently. And while her skin was still slightly damp, she moved to the next step. Because she knew something that many forget. Your skin drinks best when it's not fully dry. And more than that, she believed cleansing wasn't just about removing impurities. It was about connection. Presence. Touch. To the Queen, every act of care, even washing her face, was an act of self-respect. And perhaps that's the deeper secret here. Not just the temperature of the water, but the energy you bring to the way you treat your own skin. You can do this too. No need for expensive products or complicated steps. Just a bowl of warm water, a few minutes of silence. And the decision to begin, not with force, but with softness. Now that your face is clean and calm, let's talk about what happens in the next precious minute, while your skin is still damp. Secret 2. Moisturize while the skin is still damp. It's a moment that lasts only seconds, that fragile space between cleansing and drying. But for the queen, it was the most important moment of all, because that's when she moisturized. Not 5 minutes later, not after she walked away from the mirror. Right then, when the skin was still dewy, slightly damp. Why? Because damp skin is like a sponge, ready to drink in nourishment. When you apply moisturizer on dry skin, it simply sits on the surface. But when you apply it on damp skin, it sinks in deeper. It locks in the water, keeps the hydration where it belongs, beneath the surface, where real radiance lives. The queen understood this instinctively. And so she never rushed. After patting her skin gently with a cloth, she'd reach for her cream. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't the most expensive jar in the world, but it worked. She used Cyclax moisturizing cream, a traditional British formula she trusted for decades. Because she didn't need 20 serums or 10-step routines, she needed one thing done right every single day, and this was it. She didn't smear or tug, she pressed, tapped. Let her fingers move upward, outward slowly, almost like a dance, a rhythm her skin knew by heart. Moisturizing was never about looking younger. It was about protecting what she had, softening the edges, preventing the small cracks that come from dryness, fatigue, and time. And it worked. Her skin, even in her 90s, held a softness that no title, no crown, no fame could buy. You can do the same. You don't need her cream, you just need the habit. Right after cleansing, while your face is still damp, reach for your moisturizer and apply it like it's not just skincare, but a love letter to the woman in the mirror. Because that's what it is. And once your skin is hydrated and cared for, let's move to a place we often overlook, your lips. Secret 3. Lipstick isn't just for beauty, it's protection. We often think of lipstick as the final touch, a pop of color, a little confidence boost before heading out the door. But for the queen, lipstick wasn't just about looking polished. It was armor. She never left home without it. Not for vanity, not for show, but because she understood something that many forget. The lips are skin too. And not just any skin, the thinnest, the most delicate, the most vulnerable to age, weather, and time. Dryness, cracking, loss of color, fine lines. These show up on the lips long before we notice them on the face. So the queen made lipstick part of her daily protection. Her shade? A soft, classic pink. Subtle, timeless, elegant. Her favorite was a custom formula created just for her by Clarins, a soft tone that suited every season, every event, every chapter of her life. But it wasn't about the brand. It was about the ritual. She applied it daily, with care, with intention. And always with pride, because to her, beauty wasn't loud, it was thoughtful. And her lips? They deserved the same devotion as any other part of her face. She knew that lipstick provided a layer of defense against cold winds, against dry indoor air, against the slow erosion of hydration that comes with age. And even on days when she wore no other makeup, her lips always had color. It wasn't a statement, it was a whisper. A reminder, I care, I'm present, I'm still here. You can carry this practice too. Find a color that feels like you. It doesn't have to be bold, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel like a soft hello to the world, from you. And when you apply it, don't just think of beauty, think of protection. Think of how a simple act can remind you of your worth. And as your lips smile back in the mirror, let's talk about what framed the queen's face so elegantly in every season. Secret 4. A wide-brimmed hat is her secret sunblock. If you look back at photos of Queen Elizabeth II throughout her life, you'll notice something almost poetic. A hat. Always. Graceful, elegant, thoughtfully chosen. But this wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a habit, a shield, a daily act of protection that most people overlooked. The Queen understood the quiet damage of the sun, even in England, where clouds are more common than sunshine, because she knew ultraviolet rays don't need to be harsh to be harmful. Even on gray days, they sneak through, and over time, they can dull the skin, cause fine lines, trigger spots, and rough patches. So the Queen did what many women forget to do. She wore a wide-brimmed hat almost every time she stepped outside. To garden, to attend royal events, even just to walk the grounds. The hats were beautiful. Yes, often coordinated with her outfits, carefully crafted. But they were more than beautiful. They were functional. They cast shade across her forehead, cheeks, and jawline, all the places most vulnerable to sun damage. She knew that the best sunscreen isn't just a product, it's prevention. And while she may have had access to every kind of cream or cosmetic, she still believed in something simple: cover what matters. That belief carried into every area of her life. Protection didn't mean hiding. It meant preserving. Nurturing, respecting. You don't need to wear a crown to wear a hat. Choose one that makes you feel graceful, one that feels like part of your presence. It doesn't have to be grand. Just wide enough to create shade, soft enough to feel like you. And the next time the sun touches your skin, smile knowing you've done something the Queen did too. Because caring for your skin isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. And while her hat protected her from the outside, there was something else she drank every day to nourish herself from the inside out. Secret 5. A daily cup of tea for calm, clarity, and glowing skin. Every afternoon in Buckingham Palace had a rhythm, a pause, a moment of calm that became almost sacred. Tea time, not just a ritual, not just tradition, but a small ceremony of care. The Queen didn't drink coffee. She preferred something gentler. Something that whispered rather than shouted. She loved tea, especially Earl Grey, rich with bergamot, soft on the tongue, and filled with quiet strength. What many people didn't know is that tea was one of her oldest skincare secrets. Why? Because tea is medicine in a cup. Natural antioxidants help flush toxins from the body. They reduce inflammation, the silent cause of dullness, puffiness, and redness in mature skin. Tea supports circulation, hydration, and clarity, not just in the mind, but in the complexion. But it wasn't just what she drank, it was how she drank it. Slowly, deliberately. Often in a sunlit room with fresh flowers and silence. No distractions, no phone. No rush, just steam rising from porcelain, and a moment to simply breathe. This calm affected her skin too, because when the body is calm, the skin follows. Stress leaves its fingerprint on the face. Intention, oiliness, flare-ups. But stillness soothes, peace smooths, and the Queen knew this. You could see it in her expression, always composed, never hurried. Tea helped with that, and it can help you too. You don't need fancy china or royal recipes, just a favorite mug, a flavor you love, green tea, chamomile, peppermint, or black with lemon. Make it yours. Sip it in silence. Let it be a pause in your day. A gift, because good skin doesn't come from what you pile on top. It often comes from what you invite within, from warmth, from rhythm, from rest. So as you hold that warm cup in your hands, know that the Queen once held hers the same way, and that somewhere between sips, she was doing the most important thing a woman can do for her beauty. She was slowing down. But what happens when the day ends? When the sun sets and the world quiets? That's when her most powerful habits truly begin. Secret 6. Sleep is her nighttime skincare. There's one beauty product no bottle can replace, and the Queen knew it better than anyone. Sleep. Not just lying down, not just closing your eyes, but real, restorative, deep sleep. That's when the body resets and the skin begins its quiet work. At night, the skin doesn't just rest, it repairs. It produces collagen. It heals from sun exposure, stress, and pollution. It balances oil levels and sheds what no longer serves it. And that's why the queen guarded her sleep like treasure. She had a set bedtime, a rhythm to her evenings. No late-night news, no glowing screens in the bedroom. Instead, she gave her body cues to wind down. Soft lighting, a warm bath, a good book, often something calming, never overstimulating. She didn't bring the worries of the day into bed with her, because she knew what the mind carries, the face shows, and sleep, for her, was sacred. It wasn't something she fit in. It was something she honored. Every night, like a ceremony of peace. That's why her skin stayed calm, balanced, and smooth, even in her later years. Not because of magic, but because of sleep. So many women today push through their exhaustion. Scrolling, multitasking, sacrificing sleep for productivity. But the cost is high, not just in mood or memory, but in the health of the skin itself. You can change that tonight. Start small. Turn off screens earlier. Dim the lights. Breathe deeper. Sip calming tea. Create a simple ritual that tells your body and your skin it's safe to rest. Because the most powerful serum in the world isn't sold in stores. It's found under the covers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it costs nothing, except your willingness to slow down, to choose rest, to let beauty bloom in the quiet hours of sleep. But before the queen lay her head down, there was one final thing she never, ever forgot. Secret 7. Never go to bed with makeup on. It may sound simple, almost too obvious, but the queen never went to bed without removing her makeup. Not once, not after a long day of ceremonies, not after international travel. Not even in her 90s. It wasn't just a habit, it was a rule. A promise to her skin that it would never be left behind, because she knew what makeup left on overnight could do. Clog pores. Dry the skin, speed up aging, weaken the skin's natural barrier. She respected her face too much to leave it behind at night, so no matter how tired she was, she began with cleansing. Not harsh, not hurried. A gentle cream or cleansing oil, worked softly across the skin with fingertips. Lifting away foundation, powder, and lipstick without tugging or irritation. Then came warm water, as always, followed by a soft towel. Not rubbed, just pressed, and then moisturizer, always to seal in care. To comfort, to say thank you for today, rest well tonight. This ritual wasn't vanity. It was love. And love shows up even in the smallest, quietest choices. Many women fall into the habit of skipping it. Too tired, too distracted, too busy. But the skin remembers. It carries everything you forget. The queen didn't forget. She made her end-of-day routine just as important as her morning one, because the way you end your day matters. It sets the tone for how you'll begin the next. You don't need royal staff or luxurious products, just a few minutes. A cloth. A cleanser that feels good in your hands, and the intention to care for yourself, especially when no one is watching. That's where true beauty lives. Not in appearance, but in consistency, in integrity, in devotion. And the queen showed us that you can treat your skin with dignity at any age, especially before you close your eyes. Because when your head touches the pillow, your skin begins its healing. Make sure it's clean, calm, and cared for, just like you. 7 small rituals, none of them revolutionary, none of them trendy, but each one powerful, elegant, rooted in wisdom. These were the quiet habits behind the queen's radiant skin, but they were more than skin deep. They were reflections of how she lived, how she honored herself, how she brought grace into the ordinary. From a bowl of warm water in the morning to moisturizer on dewy skin, a sweep of lipstick that wasn't just color, but care, a wide-brimmed hat to protect her from the world's harshness, a daily cup of tea, soft, steady, and healing from within, the choice to rest deeply each night, and the unwavering promise to never go to bed without cleansing away the day. None of it required luxury. None of it required perfection. Just presence. Just consistency. Just love. You can bring that same beauty into your life. You already carry the most important part. Wisdom. Resilience. Depth. Your skin doesn't need to be flawless. It just needs to be seen. Held. Listened to. So the next time you wash your face, or press a cream into your cheek, or choose a quiet moment with tea instead of a rush to-do list, know that you're doing something royal, something sacred. You're honoring the woman you've become. You're telling her, you matter. And that voice, that whisper of care, is louder than any trend or product. If these words touched you, share them with a woman you love. Let her know she's not alone. That elegance is not about age. It's about awareness. And if you want more stories like this, gentle, true, and full of care, subscribe to the channel. This is where we grow older together. But never less beautiful, only deeper, only brighter, only more ourselves. Because true beauty, the kind that glows through wrinkles, through silver hair, through every year, that kind, it's not just for queens, it's for you. If these 7 quiet rituals spoke to your heart today, if they reminded you that beauty is not something we chase, but something we protect, then I hope you'll share this video with a woman you care about, your sister, your daughter, your dearest friend. Let her know that grace is still within reach, every single day. And if you'd like to keep receiving gentle, inspiring stories like this, stories that speak to your age, your depth, and your quiet strength, then subscribe to the channel, because here we don't just talk about skincare. We talk about honoring ourselves, slowly, softly, and without apology. And I would be honored to walk this journey of beauty and self-care with you. See you in the next video.